end it. But what I'm not gonna do, I'm not going to half-ass history. I was 8 years, what, 9 years old when Def Jam first, started doing their thing. 9 to 10, something like that, around that range right there. So I ain't gonna, I can't. So let's get into my the founders of Def Jam Records. All right, let's get into them real quick. All right, yeah, I see Rick Rubin up there. Yeah, I see Russell Simmons. All right, so the true story that some of you motherfuckers didn't know. Well, I looked it up because I know you was doing the special. So I went ahead and looked it up. Yeah. You ain't telling me nothing I don't know, OG. That's how motherfucking haters be saying. You ain't telling me nothing I don't know, OG. Tell me something I don't know, OG. In your little podcast. I had this one dude I interviewed. He said, yeah, I'm about to be on this little podcast. I won't say his name. I like, motherfucker, ain't nothing little over here. Now, maybe your followers that's coming to see you is little. Because this is how I try to explain to people. Like the Def Jam shit, we gonna promote like the hell out of the industry shit we do. We just trying to make sure it's where it need to be. You know what I'm talking about? And then we're gonna promote the hell out of it. So what we doing, if we invite you on to the show, it's your job to make sure you bring your people. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta bring your people, OJ. Now, when I'm doing shows like this, we promote on the back end, front end, and we got people watching. Another thing, you can watch this shit on Zoom. Not Zoom. What the fuck am I? Fuck Zoom. You can watch this shit on Roku TV, your smart TV, your phone, goddamn it, YouTube, Instagram. We on Instagram. Where you at on Instagram, nigga? Go to the CX1 DJs 247 radio page. We live on Instagram. On X, we on the CX1 DJs. We doing these different pages on X. And we right here. And we're gonna be on, we do the show and then Spotify pick it up. And we're gonna be everywhere, man. I want to say this real quick. Let me pick my mic right here. Why the fuck the niggas think they hating on me? I'm going somewhere. Now I was told to say how I'm gonna do it. Butterrock ain't going nowhere, baby. Before we start the show, Butterrock ain't going nowhere. Let me where are my notes at? I have my notes. Where the hell are my notes at? Hold on 1 minute, y'all. Don't worry, I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging for like 30 minutes again. Hold on 1 minute. I gotta get my notes. Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons started Def Jam Records in college at NYU. So I don't know if I think I was muted then. So let's get into this. If you guys didn't know that Rick Rubin produced for Madonna, Paul McCartney, who else he produced for? This would be way in his teenage years, way before he even started, way before college, like high school we talk about. Now, back in them days, you send beats in, it's more not you send the beats in, you go see what people having an audition. Prince was having an audition, Rick Rubin, out in Indiana. And Rick Rubin went out there, he started working with Prince. He produced some stuff on, I think, the Purple Rain album. I'm not mistaken. My notes say he did a lot of stuff with Prince in the early 80s. This is way, way before Prince came out, working with Columbia and a couple other labels that he's working with. All right, so let's briefly go into the mix of Def Jam Records. So, fast forward, after he did his earlier stuff with Madonna and Virgin Records and Columbia, had a real relationship with Columbia Records and Sony Music early before he met Russell Simmons. So moving forward, he went to NYU, New York City, and met Russell Simmons in NYU. So that where they met, they started the introduction of Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin was at NYU in college. All right, so they in there, doing their college shit like we all do. And then they actually was going out to the tunnel. My notes say they went to Latin Quarters. I went out to Latin Quarters. They had a showcase of Latin Quarters. Back then, shout out to everybody that was in that zone back in the early 80s. We talking about 83, 82, 83, 84. Latin Quarters was the place to be. So it was in Latin Quarters. It was Russell and Rick Simmons in Latin Quarters, all right, doing their thing, record exec thing they do. Def Jam was just something that they was thinking about, all right? not seriously doing it. That's the idea they was doing. All right. So all right. So in Latin quarters, they met LL Cool J was in there. LL Cool J was doing some freestyle shit on stage with his DJ, and actually Russell said, "Yeah, man, the dude's kind of dope." They brushed that shit off. Then I Need a Beat was produced by Rick Rubin. So they hooked up with LL, and that was their first hit. And that was independently Def Jam. Just Def Jam, I Need a Beat. Okay, I Need a Beat went off to sell 100,000 copies. Listen to me. LL Cool J, I Need a Beat went off to sell $100,000 copy, 100,000 copies, and we talking about 1984. So selling 100,000 copies in 1984, damn it, without a major. These two, you see who I got on the front screen here. You got Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons. LL Cool J, I Need a Beat, Underground, Def Jam Records, without a distributor, sold 100,000 copies. You might ask yourself, how the fuck did Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons did that shit? I'm going to tell you how the fuck they did it. Marketing, promotion, promoting the DJs. Payola. Motherfucker, don't say that. That's allegedly no, motherfucker. Everybody had to pay this thing. You had to pay Kiss FM. You had to pay WBLS. You had to pay the street DJs. You had to pay DJ Red Alert. You had to pay Molly Mall. You had to pay the Olsen twins, Olsen 2, because they ain't playing your shit for free. I'm an 80s baby. And I grew up in hip hop. You ain't doing shit without rubbing the hands. Pay to play. Yeah, Russell. Go ahead and contact Russell overseas. He'll tell you, yeah, motherfucker, we had to pay them DJs. I'm a DJ. I was young, but I got my motherfucking notes. I got my goddamn T right here, and it says they had to pay to play, baby. Pay to play. How the fuck you think you gonna make it in this industry? They're just gonna give it to you? You better have that goddamn bread. And at the time, I think I pissed off somebody. At the time, oh, that motherfucker talking some shit. I'm getting the hell off here. At the time, now, you might ask yourself, what the fuck two young college kids get money from? How would they pay to play? Well, I respect Russell Simmons, and I damn sure respect Rick Rubin. So that ain't my damn business. I ain't gonna say what they had to do between the other shit, on top of the other shit, with the new shit. All I know, they made it. God damn it. We're gonna leave it like that allegedly. All right, so moving on. LL Cool J, I Need a Beat, sold 100,000 copies independently, Def Jam Records. No help from nobody. Just they marketing promotion. They pay to play shit, paying the radio station, paying the DJs. You're not going nowhere without taking care of the DJs. So and when a person says something wrong with pay to play, they stupid. Oh, you see that? That's all diamonds too. Yeah, all diamonds. Shout out to my jeweler. Oh shit. Back to work. All right. Yeah, so you gotta do marketing promotion. All right. So we got that 150,000. We're gonna say almost 200,000 sold of I Need a Beat. LL Cool J, I Need a Beat was sold. All right, that opened the door for them to get a major distribution deal with Columbia Records, Sony Music Group. Okay, so once they did that, of course they and a lot of people might think that Run DMC was signed to Def Jam. There was managed by Def Jam, not signed by Def Jam. But Run DMC will be a part of this because they still help Puffy. They still help, excuse me, they still help Russell do his thing and Rick Rubin. You could not see Run DMC without affiliating that with Russell Simmons being run. Is when you see Run DMC, you automatically think that was Def Jam Records, which they was not signed to Def Jam. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm gonna let LL Cool J tell you about that. I have the audio of that. Actually got the video, but we can't load. We're not gonna load the video tonight. It'll be in some later clips. But LL Cool J tell you himself that that I'm gonna play some of this audio before we get into the pictures, because I want to keep my guys up here and keep everybody in the loop. I apologize for everybody for the show being running a little late tonight, but my apologies. Hope you guys accept my apology, and we're gonna start by playing this audio right here.
I got my record company called GMJ Records. His brother, Russell Rush, our manager, RAL, Rush Association, Rush and Leo.
You might want to know who's that talking. That's Jam Master Jay, the late Jam Master Jay talking. So we're gonna get back into that video, and I appreciate Julia Simmons for all the good marketing and making sure I have all the latest stuff I need. So that was you're gonna listen to the late Jam Master Jay telling everybody what he had going on right after he got management with Russell Simmons and Def Jam Records.
I got my record company called GMJ Records. His brother, Russell Rush, our manager, RAL, Rush Association, Rush and Leo, whatever you want to call it. Distributed by CBS. I got the Afros out. You know what I'm saying? You know the Afros.
Yeah, they was on the show. They were on the show. They were on the show.
You know the bros.
And of course, the movie career.
And I got my
Hold on.
I got my man, the family, the 4 little kids called the family. They coming out. Corey, Keith, Poppy.
Yeah, so that was the late. That was late Jam Master Jay letting y'all know exactly what we had going on. So we're gonna get more into Run DMC. I gotta break it down because Run DMC was actually in the business before LL. All right, behind there was with another label, but we're gonna get more into Run DMC.
It wasn't my favorite Rotten Tooth. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my favorite. So now I just feel like the rest of the world, when Run DMC came out, we was lucky enough to be pioneers, and that's what I'm saying that because we went to cities where they would not play rap. They would ask us questions like, what y'all think y'all gonna be doing 5 years from now? This is back in 84.
I remember I saw y'all on. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What y'all think y'all gonna be doing 5 years from now? We said, we love this sound. We love this.
And I'm gonna let you know who's talking, so you know that's the late Grandmaster DJ Grandmaster Jay. That's the Run DMC DJ.
But it still wasn't my favorite Rotten Tooth. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my favorite. So now I just feel like the rest of the world, when Run DMC came out, we was lucky enough to be pioneers, and that's what I'm saying that because we went to cities where they would not play rap. They would ask us questions like, what y'all think y'all gonna be doing 5 years from now? This is back in 84.
I remember I saw y'all on.
Yeah, so back then, they didn't believe in hip hop, and you have some of the brothers that was doing it push for hip hop. That Run DMC was actually the pioneers of hip hop. I can't get into LL Cool J without letting y'all know about Run DMC. So we're gonna get into one of LL's performance. I'm gonna let y'all hear this real quick. All right, CX1 DJs, we do things different podcasts, all exclusive stuff, y'all. Actually, that's not LL. That's Beastie Boys. So let me go into this real quick. I want to jump what I'm doing here. I want to make sure I have the right thing here. I want to get into the Beastie Boys just yet, but we're gonna get into this LL thing here. I want y'all to pay attention. All right.
And I was the first artist on Def Jam.
Right.
And my first single, I Need a Beat, was on Def Jam and sold 100,000 copies. So that was good back then. So that was 2 years ago. Yeah. Def Jam is one happy family. Got the Beastie Boys.
Right.
And
we had it this week, yeah.
Yeah, we got me. And then running them, they got the same production company as Def Jam, but they on Profile.
Right.
So it's running, Russell manages Houdini, so everybody's together.
Yeah. So you heard it. Run DMC was on Profile, but Russ Management was managing Houdini and Run DMC. All right, so we're gonna move on into we'll throw out all the LL Cool J pictures in a minute, y'all. But we want to definitely understand that Beastie Boys. We're gonna move around because I have this a certain kind of way in my phone. The Beastie Boys was definitely a pioneer of hip hop in the late 80s. So we're going to play a performance of the Beastie Boys real quick. I'm going to get back into that.
This is an old school joint. We're going to bring out an old school master from the old school.
The original Cuban beatbox, world's greatest entertainer.
Yeah, and I like this right here because they bring out Dougie Fresh. They give Dougie Fresh his props. So we're going to definitely let y'all hear this. And I hope y'all like it, man. Dougie did his thing like always.
School joint. We're gonna bring out an old school master from the old school.
The original human beatbox, world's greatest entertainer, Dougie. Dougie Fresh, y'all.
We will be posting these videos later on once we get the clearance. We got the clearance to play the audio right now. All right. So we got most of the stuff I got to make sure, because we do everything right here. We got to make sure everything is correct before we post the video. So we got Eric Sermon situation. This was dope as well. Eric Sermon was also, EPMD was also signed to Def Jam. And we get into that in a minute.
How High was made. Let me give you a quick story or two. So now they get ready to shoot the video, right? Leo and Russell never played them the remix.
Oh, okay.
So they show up, God bless the dead, Diane Martell just died. The director.
Okay. Let me go back to that.
How High was made. Let me give you a quick story or two. So now they get ready to shoot the video, right? Leo and Russell never played them the remix.
Oh, okay.
So they show up, God bless the dead, Diane Martell just died, the director. So they doing the playback before the first, scene is getting ready to be shot for the first shooting. Fly, Robin, fly. Oh my God.
That was the hit. That was the hit, Eric Sermon. That was the hit, y'all. Y'all remember that I Want to Fly, the Eric Sermon joint. Now, I'm going to tell you another artist that y'all didn't know that saved Def Jam. When Def Jam was declining, Regulators, Warren G, he actually saved Def Jam. So I'm going to let y'all understand that.
Way home, so I went by Roscoe's to get a bite.
This is Warren G talking, y'all. Just
I was on my way home, so I went by Roscoe's to get a bite. Seen this dude out there selling incense and selling records and shit for $1. So I told him, man, I want to buy your whole crate of records. So I gave him like $500, took the whole crate, went home and just started digging. Just started digging and digging and digging. And that's where I found I keep forgetting, because when I first heard it, doom, 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 I said, oh my God, if I sample this and rap on this would be way different from what anybody doing. Yeah, I built it, just constantly built it after I pieced it together, because I had to piece that like one pad, boom, 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 boom. I had to keep hitting the pad. I was on my way home. So.
Yeah, man, this is crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know that Warren G was signed to Def Jam to now. And so he did his thing. So I'm gonna play something else, y'all. So we're gonna get into the Beastie Boys, because Beastie Boys really had the platform with Def Jam Records that really saved Def Jam earlier. You had Warren G that saved, and you had the Beastie Boys that came and really laid a foundation down on what they was doing with Def Jam. So let me click in here and get the pictures. Everybody hold on 1 minute. So I want to properly give these brothers they shine here. So let's get into the Shantae and Ja Rule situation. So a lot of people understand that. Well, if you didn't understand, Ja Rule and Shantae was signed to Murder Inc., which was distributed by Def Jam Records. So Def Jam, when they started merging to other different labels, Ja Rule and Shantae was one of the biggest R&B artists on the label. So let me get this right here. Oh, I think I got it. Here we go. Yeah. So you got Ashanti and Ja Rule. So to keep the ball rolling, so we left the early '80s and we get into the '90s into the 2000s. So you have Ja Rule and Ashanti running the Def Jam scene. Now, even though people might say, "Well, that's Murder Inc." Murder Inc., Def Jam, same thing. If Murder Inc. sells 3 million copies, Def Jam pretty much get a kickback off that. So that's how that go. So for those that know that, because a lot of people just think that you got Murder Inc. Everybody have a boutique label. Murder Inc., Def Jam, then you have your Warner Music Group, you got Universal Music Group, you have all the big subs that coincide with the little independent labels. So if anybody learned anything from the CX1 DJs, we do things different podcasts, Untold Stories. With the Untold Stories, a lot of young people don't know, you need a major to back your little independent bootleg label, boutique label. Everybody want to say, I want to go independent. Well, when you got the money to go independent, then go independent, but that shit costs money, y'all. I just wanted to let everybody know that shit costs money, and it's really stepping out in faith and really knowing what you're doing. So let's talk about Ashanti. Where's she at? Yeah, pretty old Ashanti. Let me open up real quick. So let's get into the Ashanti and Ja Rule situation. So a lot of people understand that. Well, if you didn't understand, Ja Rule and Ashanti was signed to Murder Inc., which was distributed by Def Jam Records. So Def Jam, when they started merging to other different labels, Ja Rule and Ashanti was one of the biggest R&B artists on the label. So let me get this right here. Oh, I think I got it. Here we go. Yeah. So you got Ashanti and Ja Rule. So to keep the ball rolling, so we left the early '80s and we get into the '90s, into the 2000s. So you have Ja Rule and Ashanti running the Def Jam scene. Now, even though people like say, well, that's Murder Inc., Def Jam, same thing. If Murder Inc. sells 3 million copies, Def Jam pretty much get a kickback off that. So that's how that go. So for those that know that, because a lot of people just think that you got Murder Inc. Everybody have a boutique label. Murder Inc., Def Jam, then you have your Warner Music Group, you got Universal Music Group, you have all the big subs that coincide with the little independent labels. So if anybody learned anything from the CX1 DJs, we do things different podcasts, Untold Stories. With the Untold Stories, a lot of young people don't know, you need a major to back your little independent bootleg label, boutique label. Everybody want to say, I want to go independent. Well, when you got the money to go independent, then go independent, but that shit costs money, y'all. I just wanted to let everybody know that shit costs money, and it's really stepping out in faith and really knowing what you're doing. So let's talk about Ashanti. Where's she at? Yeah, pretty old Ashanti. Let me open up real quick.